Welcome to Haunted Homebodies, where Halloween isn't just a day, it's a lifestyle. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Sarah, and we're your guides through the delightfully dark corners of comfort horror.
Grab your damn fine cup of coffee and a slice of cherry pie.
It's time to find a fish in the percolator.
That line is so over my head, I don't even know what that means. Is that in the pilot? Did I miss it?
It is in one of the first episodes. So even though this is going to be a spoiler-free episode, that is a line that you will come to appreciate, I promise. I'll talk more about that in a second. But before we dive into our topic today of Twin Peaks, do you feel like the vast majority of your favorite TV shows are from a long time ago? And how does that make you feel?
My favorite everything. I don't know if I'm just so nostalgia fueled, and I don't know that that's like super healthy. But 90s, 80s, like anything that looks like a different era is not set in present day, that either is old or looks like it old. Like Stranger Things is a great example, where it's set in the 80s and is over the top in terms of trying to be nostalgic, and I just eat it up, anything like that. And how do I feel about that? Yeah, I don't know that it's great, because like, do I just not like the time we're living in? Kind of. Yeah, it's not awesome, especially right now. It's pretty tough out there. So maybe that's part of it. It helps feed that escape factor of going to a simpler time, a nicer time, a more fun time, more whimsy.
I love that. I was talking to someone that I work with a few months ago about my top 3 favorite shows, which are Twin Peaks, we're going to talk about today, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and West Wing, all of which are 90s shows, none of which I saw when they were first on. So the nostalgia factor is what you're talking about for me. It's not the nostalgia of having watched them when I was younger and returning to them. It's the nostalgia of like the time they were set in and what it looks like. But this man's response, he said, "Oh, so it's all just been downhill for you since then."
Yep, thanks.
Yeah,
pretty much. Is that how you feel?
Yes and no. It's so interesting because, like, aren't we living in the era of like peak prestige television? Or maybe that has passed a little bit, but like was very recent, right? Like all of these shows that were that I just referenced were just on cable television or on network television. They were all on network television. And so they were so limited in ways in which I'll really get into with Twin Peaks. And then we've got HBO and Showtime and all of these things that can be done now on TV, yet it hasn't ever felt as magical to me.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it though, like the limitation and I don't know, the confines of it just are cozier.
Yes.
The cozy container. It's not just this vast streaming.
X-Files recently, like so cozy because of the time it's set.
Yeah.
And everything else.
Well, I'm going to do my best to not make this episode about me because this is your episode. But I was reading about Murder, She Wrote and some plot holes, and people were discussing how like they didn't really care. The writers didn't really care. Like it wasn't worth the time for them to go back and figure out like how things were connected or what characters' backstory was, because people were not like they weren't able to just go stream and start season 1 again. They weren't rewatching the season before the next season started. You know, they'd catch reruns here or there, but people weren't, you know, watching these like shows, especially one like Murder, She Wrote that's more serial based, where you know they just were like not there for the continuity as much. They were just there for the vibes, you know.
That's such a good point. Like I always think of network TV of having the limitations of like the network execs having opinions and like really pushing that, and also like you could only show and say certain things. But there's also that like the audience experience for those shows was so different. You had to watch the recap at the beginning if you hadn't watched last week's episode.
That's so true. That's so true. And I mentioned this before. I think that I also, the one thing I miss about cable is there's this vibe of like community, like we're all watching it together. Like even of just that general feeling of like I'm not alone in this. That makes me sound kind of like a sad, lonely boy, but like whatever, I kind of am sometimes. Where like I just feel less alone because I know there's other people like enjoying
Yes.
experiencing this out there. And then also, like there'd be shows, and there still are shows where it's like I watch and then talk to you about, or I watch and then talk to my
Hmm.
sister about. And there was such a clear like we watch it and then we discuss it the next day thing that happened a lot in high school, and that just isn't a
Right.
thing anymore. It's not more like I'm like, oh, you should watch the show, and then I wait for you to watch it and then you get
Yes.
back to
And
me
it's the
and then we
whole
could talk about it.
thing. Yes.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you've watched the whole thing. And like we've had a couple shows in recent years like that, like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
People watched when it
Yes.
came out and they talked about it. But even Stranger Things, like such a big deal. So many people watching it. It gets released either a whole season at a time or like serious chunks at a time. It's a totally different thing now. It's
Yeah.
sad. It really is missing some of that magic.
Yeah. But then by the same token, I do get frustrated when Stranger Things is like, here's the first 3 episodes. And I'm like, give me the whole thing. I
Oh,
need
they
to
will
see
be
it.
doing that to us for the last season. I think it comes out in 3 parts.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also heard that each of the episodes is like a feature length film,
That's what they did last
basically.
season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's all
anyway,
fun. It's
we're
all good.
talking
We're
about
fine.
we're not fine. We're 100% not fine.
That's fair.
But we are talking about one of my favorite shows of all time. Maybe even it's in the number one slot. I don't know. It's
Wow.
it's probably unimportant for me to rank that, but I love this show. Today we're talking about Twin Peaks, the original Twin Peaks that premiered in 1990. And we are just going to be talking about the pilot. Usually, this is a spoiler rich podcast because we are usually talking about things that are fairly old because that's what we like.
Yeah.
Uh, but I recognize that Twin Peaks is something that some people have just not gotten the chance to watch yet, or like my co host here, have not gotten the chance to finish yet. And I think we can really introduce a lot of what makes Twin Peaks so special, still keeping it spoiler free with the exception of the pilot. And
Yeah.
those aren't going to be like big twisty spoilers in the pilot.
No.
It's just setting everything up.
No, the I have one story, one personal experience about Twin Peaks that I will share with you now. I may have told you about this probably because you are such a big Twin Peaks fan, but as you know, I have moved a few times in my
Yes.
life. So this is now
Yes.
my third time living in Maine. So we're gonna go back to the second time I was living in Maine. I sold my house. I went on a little cross-country road trip. You were there for part of it. Super fun
Mhm. It
time.
was amazing.
And then I came home and I was like, okay, so I have nowhere to live now. Where am I going to go? And I assumed that on my road trip, like something would click. I would go to one of these places and I'd be like, I'm going to move to Montana. I'm going to move to Nashville, Tennessee. And I had kind of tried out all these
Yeah.
places to see, like, I'm just going to be like, the country is my oyster. let me let me just date around. I was calling it like speed dating America because I had read an article about that you just go on a road trip and speed date America, see where you like. Okay, I came home and I was like, still single, nowhere to live. And also, this was like what was this like 2021? I'm a little hazy on my years, but
It must
um
have been.
yeah, we'll say
Yeah.
2021. Housing was really tough. You couldn't really go view apartments because of COVID. They were just kind of like, here's a picture. Do you want it? Because, oh, there's
Mm-hmm.
only one apartment available. So I had nowhere to live. This is becoming a really long-winded story, but I'm just going to keep pumping along here. So I applied for an apartment in Portland, Maine. It was like the first one I had seen in my budget that had become available that was dog friendly. I got a call the next day while I was driving to my little temporary job, and they were like, hey, you got the apartment. So I was like, okay, I'm moving to Maine. So I moved to Maine, and
Oh.
basically the real reason why I sold my house, this is like no longer a Twin Peaks episode. This is like get to know Ashley's demons episode. Um, so I sold my house because I was like in this small town. I wasn't meeting anyone. I had like dated a farmer. He was okay. It didn't work out.
I got to meet that
Um,
farmer.
you did?
You
No one met
remember?
him. No.
Like we like literally went out to see him. Like he was out on his
He was like
tractor,
farming.
like
He
on
was
the
always farming.
fields. Yeah.
And he like talked to you out loud? He was so shy. I wish.
Barely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even like remember the details. That's like how exciting this was to me. Anyway, that ended. And I moved from my house because I was like, if I stay here, I'm gonna die alone. So it was like I need to like go to somewhere where there's people. Um,
Mhm.
people out there. Can't just live alone. I could live alone in the house with my dog. We had a pretty good life, but I just like I
Sure.
wanted to be in a
Yeah.
relationship. So moved to Portland, Maine, and I got on the dating apps. So woof. Okay.
I'm
Woof.
excited to see where this goes right now.
You don't know like this whole
No.
oh man, this is a real long lead up to a very small Twin Peaks anecdote. So I'm on the dating apps. I hate them. I'm not a person who likes to date. Uh, I was really only on Hinge, which felt like a little less toxic, but people still would just like send like mean stuff or just like really gross
Hmm.
stuff. And I was just very selective about like who I would go on dates with. I've been on 3 dating app dates. I ended up like dating, like being in a relationship with 2 of them, one of them being the farmer. So like I had a pretty good return. Like I wasn't just going out to be like, let's see how it goes. I was someone where I was like, I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure that like we're gonna at least have an okay time. So I'm messaging one person. I'm like loyal. I'm a one man gal, okay? Even on my dating apps, I'm like usually my concentration's on one or two
Sure.
people at most. So I'm talking to this one guy. He seems cute enough. It's like heading towards like, okay, we gotta like, are we gonna go out or are we not? Um, and one of his pictures, like the reason why I started talking to him is because one of his pictures is him like laying where what is the girl's name who dies? Laura
Laura
Palmer
Palmer.
laying where they found her dead body. He's like laying there. And I had just started watching Twin Peaks randomly. And I was like, is this a sign? So we talked about it and I was like, oh, I'm like really liking this new show. I'd been watching it. Like, it's right up my alley. And he said something back like, oh, Twin Peaks like is my alley. Like he was a super fan. He was a super
Okay.
fan. And
Uh-huh.
so he was telling me like about that whole trip and all the places he went. Like he went to where they filmed it. I don't know where that is. You probably do. And like took all these
All around the
photos.
Pacific Northwest.
Okay, yeah, that like is where the actual show took place. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Um, and yeah, he was like a horror fan. So I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go out. And then I think I was supposed to go out with him, and then I was like, ugh, I don't feel like it. I'm just gonna like text my friend Chris and like just hang out with him instead. And spoiler alert, I'm now married to my friend Chris, so
I love
I made the
it.
right
You should
choice.
have
But
become friends with this other man, though.
yeah,
I
probably,
love a
yeah,
Twin Peaks fan. We're few and far between.
yeah.
That's
I
not
mean,
true, but
I
I
kind
don't
of
know
ghosted
others.
him. He was like,
Okay.
oh, are we still going out tonight? And then I just was like, delete app.
Bye.
Not my best moment. I don't love a ghost, but I really
It
had no reason as to
happens.
like why I wasn't going to go out with him aside from like
Yeah.
social anxiety. But
Yeah.
it's
I
okay.
get
We
it.
probably wouldn't have gotten
You don't owe
married.
him anything.
No.
Yeah.
I'm good with what I got.
I would have
Thanks
really
Chris, for
enjoyed
hanging
talking
out
to
with
him
me.
about one thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I would have yeah, I wanted to go out with him mostly because I was like, oh my gosh, a horror friend. Like I just want a horror friend.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for that 15-ish minute little story. But that's
I love
literally,
it.
I was watching Twin Peaks. I continued to watch it, and then I didn't finish it. I think because it left Hulu or my Hulu trial ran out. I think that's why.
Oh.
Um,
Okay, so I'm gonna give you my this is a secret from the people who care about passwords. I'm gonna give you my Paramount Plus login and you
it's on.
can
Oh yeah, no,
continue
it's on.
it.
Okay, so now
Okay.
it's on Paramount
Yeah.
Plus, and I have
Yeah.
that, and so
Okay,
that's where I
great.
watched it for today, and I just haven't had time to continue. But I
Okay, but
also
you
remember
will.
it
Yeah.
getting like really weird.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
well
talking
let's
about the
back up.
pilot
Hold on,
today.
let's back
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
We're talking about the pilot today.
Yeah. I'm like, I
So
want to talk to you about Twin Peaks in general, but we gotta
wait,
talk
but
about
I
the
love
pilot
this
today.
because you are as excited as I am about Twin Peaks in your own way. This is amazing.
I
Okay, so
am.
Twin Peaks, it debuted on April 8th, 1990. So we were tiny little babies.
We're, yeah. Fresh out.
Uh, and I'm just going to read the synopsis of the pilot, which does have an episode name. It's called Northwest Passage.
Hmm.
And that is the small northwest town of Twin Peaks, Washington, is shaken up when the body of the homecoming queen, Laura Palmer, is discovered washed up on a riverbank, wrapped in plastic. Now, that is a good description of the physical things that happen and that kick off the events of the show.
Yeah.
Is that a good description of what the show is really about? No. Like you just said, things get really weird. So there's a lot of discussion on the internet about like what Twin Peaks is actually about. And keep in mind, the original show gets really weird. The prequel movie, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, gets way weirder. And then the
Hmm.
2017 Twin Peaks The Return blows those other two out of the water in
Okay.
terms of weirdness. It's amazing. I love all of it. I wouldn't say all of it is as cozy as the original show, which ran for only 2 seasons before it was canceled.
Yeah.
So anyway, what is it really about? Tons of like debate on the internet about what it's really about. And the show's creator always really, David Lynch, always refused to answer that, which he did similarly for all of his very surrealist works. By the way, David Lynch did pass away earlier this year, which is very sad and a
Yeah.
big loss to the
Yeah, he
film
was amazing.
community. Yes, yes. So a lot of the discussion about what it's actually about is like good versus evil of humankind. If you really want to boil it down. But my favorite take, I just wanted to read this, and this is my first Reddit comment I am bringing to the show.
Really? It's been me every time?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah. So, this user who deleted their account, so I don't have their username, said, I think David Lynch doesn't answer questions about it because he doesn't even know what it all means. He's just showing us his dreams. The TV is a looking glass, and all we're really watching is just ourselves.
Whoa, I got chills.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of David Lynch is like that true artistic, like, what do you see in it?
Keep
And I love that.
His work is making me think of this other director who did like Moonrise Kingdom. He's like super
Wes
vibey.
Anderson.
Yes.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but there's like something about them having this like such a defined aesthetic and this like
Yeah.
dreamlike quality to them. It's like
Uh-huh.
he is like the nightmare version of Wes
Yeah.
Anderson, kind of,
And I
where
would
it's like a
argue like
little
much
psychological.
deeper. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know anything about Wes Anderson's films. I just know like the vibes.
I,
But
I
I'm
used to
just
be a
thinking
big
of like
Wes
the way
Anderson
that,
fangirl.
oh really? Yeah, you
Yeah.
seem like kind of bitter about it now.
Yeah. I was just kind of bored by his new stuff anyway.
Okay. Oh yeah, that is the number one crime against Sarah is to be boring.
So
We've
true.
established that time and time again. But yes, I would agree. I don't know that I've like gotten through many of his movies because I do find them very slow, but visually stunning. And I think that's something
Yes.
that David Lynch does super well is the cinematography and the thought of like how everything is shot is so incredibly done and the vibes.
Okay, before I leave the meaning of Twin Peaks, and I do want your opinion on Twin Peaks, but there's this excellent tie-in to one of my other favorite shows that is actually semi-recent, so that's promising. The Good Place. I just adore it.
What?
We don't really have we not talked about my obsession with The Good Place?
No, we have. I'm just like really curious to see where the time
Oh,
is
okay. It's a
coming.
very small tie-in. It's
Okay, okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um, there is a scene in which there are, because there's a mystical magical element to The Good Place. No spoilers for The Good Place either. But is a table set up with like bowls of candy, and you can like eat the candy and like get a certain feeling or like things like that. But there's one that is labeled, if you eat the candy, fully understand the meaning of Twin Peaks.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
like
a
that.
it's a big deal. Nobody really knows. I think that's part of the purpose behind what David Lynch is doing. And also for a show that like truly I don't have a lot of people in my life I can talk to about it that have watched it all the way through. It is and has been referenced throughout pop culture an
Yeah.
incredible amount because it's just there's nothing else like it. And it was a big deal when it was on, which I think is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I think it's actually really surprising to me that it is so popular and beloved, not because I don't think it's amazing, but because people want like the closure and the satisfying ending. And I don't know what that is yet. You said that he made some sort of closure for us because the people in the studio behind the scenes, right, were like, people need something. They need some sort of answer to the mystery.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But that is also like what storytelling is, right? Is to go through this journey, bring us on a journey, go through the struggle. We're not quite sure how it's going to end, and then like it ends in some in some way. And for this show to kind of just leave you questioning and without answers, that is a lot harder of a sell, which perhaps
Hmm.
is why it's a little bit more of a cult following and people like either are like, oh yeah, that show is kind of cool, or they're like, I'm obsessed with this show. It's the
That
greatest
is
show
a
ever.
really good point. And then, like he did come back with Twin Peaks The Return, but I wouldn't call that the type of satisfying conclusion that Twin Peaks The Return is like a 10-hour art house film. Like, it's like full of like layered meanings and very little conclusion to the plot and the
Yeah.
characters of the first one. And I think David Lynch would tell you that's not what it was about.
Uh, yeah, he was on his own journey. I respect it. And the
Yeah.
success he had, he was gonna be like, I'm not gonna do it like everybody else is, and take it or leave it.
Yeah. He was very successful at that. So
Hmm.
you haven't finished Twin Peaks yet, and we've been talking about it, but I have to know kind of your thoughts and feelings about what you've seen so far.
Yeah, so I don't remember what episode I got up to before my Hulu subscription went away, but I was close to the end and things were really starting to unravel, but we will discuss that at a later date when I've rewatched. But rewatching the pilot, I was watching it very closely as I do for the podcast, and often that makes me view things through kind of a different lens. Like
Mm.
we're big comfort watchers, we're big rewatchers, so a lot of times I'm reading or doing a chore and kind of like half watching, coming in and out. But I like sat there and watched this, and I was surprised by how dark it is.
Right?
I so I'm a very different person now today than the first time I watched it back
Mhm.
4 years ago. I had a baby. After having a baby, I know many other people can relate to this. You just view the world very differently, and like I had to take a huge step back from horror in general, true crime. No, like you just want to view the world from like a safer lens, in general. And I've been able to like dip my toe back in, but I definitely view things like in a very like more anxiety conscious way. And this show did not trigger my anxiety, but there were some moments where I was like, "Oh, this is like super heavy and extremely dark themes." And then it's like presented and it's like boop doop 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 kind of like, look at all these donuts and oh we're having fun and I'm so charming and look at this like really charming town, but also just this like weird montage of like just sawing wood.
I mean, don't get me started on the opening credits. I could do an entire podcast episode on how much I love the opening credit.
I do want to talk about them because I love them and I don't know why. It's literally just cutting wood up and it's like a very industrial
There's a bird, there's a random
sequence.
bird, there's the
It's so
waterfalls,
weird.
but there's
Yeah.
also like the most amazing music you have ever
Yes.
heard.
It definitely has ASMR vibes. It's just something about it. Like I'm like
Yes.
mesmerized by the whatever spiral saw, whatever you call it, going through the wood and the sparks coming off. And I'm like, where are we going? Oh. And I really love the typeface. The
Oh yeah.
colors are weird,
You
but
like kind of accidentally were branding us like Twin Peaks for a while, like just because that's
yeah.
what that's what you
Probably
were
was
drawn to.
subconscious.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like it. It's different. It's not like other title cards that you see out
Hmm.
there, and I love it for that. And it's so stark with this kind of quirky color scheme, and then just this like very blasé, but like also lovely backdrop. I don't know how to describe the town. It's so fascinating to me because it's so shitty and has like so many scummy people and then like so many lovely people. I guess it's just like a real small town.
Truly, truly so much like a real small town. And like any show, there are character arcs and surprising things about some of the characters. This is a spoiler-free episode. Maybe a future episode I'll just do like comparisons of where a character started to where they ended in Twin
That would be a good
Peaks.
one. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because there's some really interesting things. But so I think that the main character really exemplifies what you're talking about. This like jarring juxtaposition between this like kind of like la-di-da delight in a lot of things and like cute parts of the small town with like incredibly dark themes. This is not a murder like in Murder She Wrote where they solve the
No.
murder and everything's fine. This is a pillar of the community, homecoming queen was friends with everyone and volunteered, and like everyone in the town knew her, and everyone is so upset. Like this is so dark. And so the main, I would consider him the main character of the show, Special Agent Dale Cooper, who I think is my favorite TV character of all time. He finds delight in everything. Like we first meet him, he is talking on a like physical tape recorder in his car driving into town to his assistant Diane, and he's like, I have got to find out what these trees are. Like he loves the trees in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, his like he goes, excuse me, but this is a damn fine cup of coffee. Like he just delights in these small moments, which is amazing. But also he's an FBI agent who is trying to solve actually a series of murders. So it turns out in the pilot, here's a pilot only spoiler, that Laura Palmer's murder is connected to some murders in some other states. That's why the FBI is involved. And it's like he encompasses all of that even in just his one character. And it got me thinking, like, is that commentary on kind of what we all have inside of us? Is that like you need that to find that delight when you have such a heavy and emotionally taxing job? What's your take on that, and on Special
Wow.
Agent Dale Cooper?
I also was a bit surprised watching it for the second time because the first time I was completely on the side of he is delightful, he's quirky, he's so sweet, he's so cute, and I think all of those
He
things
is
are
pretty
true.
cute.
Yeah, he is delightful. That's a great word to describe him. But there are also times where he is very cold in the way that he communicates, very clinical, and I found that
Hmm.
really jarring. Like when he was talking to, I don't remember the girl's name, but she was another victim. She had survived, but she's really not doing well.
Ronette Pulaski.
Ronette,
It's a
what a
great
name.
name. Yeah.
Ronette Pulaski. But yeah, she went through a horrible ordeal, extremely dark, was
Hmm.
not doing well. And just the way that he was talking to like the the nursing staff and interacting with her, it was like all business. And there just like was this lack of empathy that you do associate with law enforcement. I think that added such a unique complexity to his character because you like he is like more endearing toward a cup of coffee or like and the diner waitress who gave it to him because and like more endearing about like donuts on the table, and then there is a assault victim who almost died and is clinging to life, and he's like not really showing a whole lot of like sensitivity or sadness about it. Maybe that's just part of it is that he is just this like positive and he's just like, well, I'm just here to do my job and I got to figure out these things. And he I think there are a lot of people who do that type of work who can't get too absorbed. Like the poor police officer who found what they think is the scene and he's crying and he's talking to like the cute
Andy.
little secretary. He's just weeping because
Lucy.
he's so upset.
I
Yeah.
know.
And that
I
is like
know.
and I'm sure that was deliberate to show this contrast between this FBI agent who's just like kind of all business and gathering these details and keeping a clear head. And this poor local policeman who probably hasn't really seen anything really bad in
Right.
his whole career. And he just is thinking about like the awful thing that these women went through. And one of them is now dead, and I don't know the whole story yet, so I can't provide a spoiler here. But That's the story is like what he thinks. And I don't know, it's just really interesting how they have these complexities within characters that they're able to reveal in one episode, and then also these contrasting characters just like within the community themselves. They're all so different. It's really interesting.
It's also like I feel like endlessly rewatchable, even
Yeah,
just the pilot, because you pick up on all these different things, or you have a different experience with it. And the pilot, by the way, is 2 hours long.
it's long. Yeah.
This was a 2 hour long pilot. Totally worth it. It's amazing. Um, we talked before about the difference of like, so this was on a network. This was on, I don't know, maybe CBS. I don't remember. Irrelevant. And I'm curious if you think that Twin Peaks would have been really different in this like era of prestige television. Now, you have not seen Twin Peaks: The Return, and I don't think that is necessarily what David Lynch would have given us as a TV show or at the start of a TV show back in 1990 anyway. So do you think that like it would have worked better on something like an HBO or a Showtime? Or do you think like some of the magic is that they're trying to create this like really cram this incredibly lofty show and ideas into the constraints of like a network television that was also kind of like a soap opera about teenagers in high school?
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. He comes across as someone who would have just like done his thing no matter what. So I feel like if you plucked him out of his time period and his network and his limitations and like plopped him in somewhere else, part of me thinks that it would have been pretty similar and it still would have had that like not so tangible quality to it. Like he seems like he was the type, and I'm no expert, but seems like he's the type where he's like, this is what I want to do, and would kind of be a little bit like not I'm like trying to explain it. He's not willing to just bend and change just because of like outward pressures like some other um
Hmm.
creators might have just been like, whatever, I don't want to deal with it, or I have to do what you say. Like he just seemed like he was like, well, this is me and people are gonna like it, so
Yeah,
take it or leave it kind of thing.
I think that is very true. And similarly, or along the same train of thought, though, I do think there's something about the limitations that were placed on him that adds to some of the magic, right? Like it leaves some more mystery in than maybe he would have leaned into
So expand on that for me,
otherwise.
because I think you know more about it than me. So I'm curious, like what kind of limitations are you referencing specifically to this show?
I mean, they can't even swear. They can't even like seriously swear. They barely show Laura's like dead face. There's very little violence, and when it is, it's,
So you mean
kind
like
of
in
like
terms of it
comical.
being like PG-13,
Yeah,
basically?
exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, were his other works like more racy?
So this is
Like
my
movies and
confession:
stuff?
is I'm obsessed with Twin Peaks, and I haven't seen his other
Oh.
movies. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got to. They're on my
I'm
list. I meant to
curious.
before this episode.
Do you think you would have liked the show if it was like rated R, if it was boiled down to a rated R, say,
Mm.
2 hour movie or a trilogy, and he could have done whatever he want? Like, would you have liked it as much? Would it have been as cozy if they were just dropping F-bombs and slicing and dicing?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think
I
so
think it's
either.
kind of perfect as it is.
Yeah, yeah, and
Hmm.
it's such an interesting thing because no, there isn't a lot of overt violence. There is not a lot of blood. There's not a lot of gore. But if you're paying attention and
It's
you're listening
dark.
to what they're
It's
saying,
so dark.
it is one of the darker things I've watched in a while. That's usually not what I go for because that kind of theme and vibe generally is just like too bleak for me, but this show really is able to walk that line between like presenting an extremely dark scenario and then also piquing your curiosity and having whimsy somehow.
Well, I
Having
think
a
there's
little
like
bit of
a
whimsy.
like a hopefulness to a lot
Yeah.
of it also. It's not so like while it is kind of a jarring juxtaposition sometimes, it's not just that like there's the dark and there's the light. I
Right.
think there's like an optimism
Yes.
to some of it. Um like that's present in some of the characters.
Yeah.
Like Andy, the cop who cries, like he obviously thinks
Yes.
everyone is good and
And the
that's a good,
sheriff,
yeah.
yeah, the sheriff, like
Ugh.
I just have faith that like him and Dale Cooper, like they're gonna figure it out. Special Agent Cooper, excuse me. Like they're going to figure stuff out. Like I feel like we're in good hands. Like they make us feel like we're in good hands. We're not dealing with like some shady police department
Mhm.
and at least that's how it comes across in the beginning to me and maybe they'll betray me. I don't know. But they are giving me this vibe of like we're in good hands, like some sort of justice will be served and if it can't be served, like they've done everything they can to try.
I love that. And if it's important to say his full name, Special Agent Dale Cooper, is also important to say the sheriff's full name, which is Sheriff Harry S. Truman.
Oh, Harry S. Truman. I do remember chuckling about that. I forgot. He's
So good.
cute.
He's also cute. I
And
know.
having an affair? Question mark? Is that
I think it's like a
is she
secret
married?
tryst.
Okay.
No,
I
her
couldn't tell if
husband
she
is dead, and I'm pretty sure that's
Oh,
already
okay.
established in the
Yeah,
pilot.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember, but I was
Yeah.
like, there's okay, so they're just secret. Because is he
Yeah.
married?
No.
There's
I
no
mean,
adultery.
there's
Okay.
tons of adultery in the
Right,
show,
right, but
like
not
which they
them.
establish
I
in the
think that's why I'm
pilot.
getting like
Yeah.
there's some wild love triangles going on already.
I mean, the
It's a lot.
triangles, I don't even think have enough sides for what we're
Quadrangles, yeah.
talking about with some of them.
Pentagons.
It's like so soap opera-y
It
at some
is.
points. Like I was,
Campy. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like it's safe to
yeah.
call this campy in some ways. I I'm bringing up Murder She Wrote again because of who I am as a person. But I saw someone reference it as campy and it made me think of this show and being like, this is kind of campy too, because we think of campy a lot of times as just the over the top version where it's just like
Hmm.
silly and like big practical effects and just like over the top. But these kind of shows have this like quieter camp to them. And I think Murder She
Yeah.
Wrote is like that and Twin Peaks is like that where it defies like logic and reasonable time frames and reasonable just realms of living, right? Like in some ways you could, I guess, say that certain parts of this episode like all make sense within but like it is a tangled web. This would have to be the most buck wild small town in the Pacific Northwest for all of that to be going down in a matter of hours. It's messy.
I have never thought of Twin Peaks as campy, and now that you've said it, like 100% also it makes sense why I love it so much. Like,
Right.
I mean, there is a whole plot point about the fact that Laura Palmer had half of one of those broken heart best friend necklaces that we totally had in high school, and they're
Yeah.
trying to track down the killer by finding out who had the other half of the necklace.
Yeah, and there's the mom's having a dream about someone like uncovering it. Like, like
Oh,
we
yeah.
kind of get answers and then are left with a question, right? Isn't that the cliffhanger of the
Hmm.
mom waking up screaming because she sees someone grabbing the
Yes.
necklace out of the dirt? So it's like a dream premonition. We don't really know.
Yeah, we haven't gotten into any of the paranormal stuff in the pilot, but
It's in there.
it's coming, guys.
It's
It's coming.
coming. They're warming us up to it. Yeah, this show is a wild ride. I'm
It
excited to
truly
keep
is.
going.
I am excited for you. I'm excited for me in this rewatch. It is amazing. I have two last thoughts to share before we go into my game today. One is one of the first notes that I wrote down for myself when rewatching the pilot for this episode was almost exactly, in fact, I think it was word for word, exactly what I wrote down for our episode 2 weeks ago for I Know What You Did Last Summer.
What? How?
For both of them, I just wrote what a cast,
Oh
which
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? What a cast. Like I was thinking for both of these things, in very different directions. Were they such a big deal at the time just because it was such a hot cast? I mean, both that show, this show, and that movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was a really funny tie-in and zero other tie-ins.
So that's hilarious. I don't think I remember thinking, wow, this cast is hot, but I could see it. I could definitely see that. One thing that I had a complete different reaction to some characters that are definitely not supposed to be hot, and you're gonna have to help me remember this so I can articulate this because it's kind of funny. I was watching, and we're introduced to a lot of characters,
Yes.
a lot, and there's a lot of names to keep track of. So like even when I'm paying attention, like I should have had a notepad so I could have articulated things better on this
It's a
episode.
lot.
There are two characters that are relatively minor in the pilot, but from having watched some of the show, I know that they take on bigger roles. One of them is he's like the gas station
Ed.
owner, Ed. Okay. And
Yeah.
his wife's name is
Nadine.
Nadine. Okay.
Yes.
Ed and Nadine.
Yeah.
We are introduced to them, and I am like, holy mother of, I'm trying to like figure out a way to say this without using the Lord's name in vain because I'm not religious or I like I'm like, holy mother of Christ. I recognize them immediately from this very bizarre Wes Craven movie called The People
Oh.
Under the Stairs.
Huh.
It is so weird. So I immediately look it up and I'm like, like, what are they doing? Like together again. That movie is reread, I'd seen it in like a long time ago, and it's so weird. And I read the Wikipedia plot description, and I was like, this is so messed up. It is such a crazy movie, but they are this awful couple, I'll just say, in that movie. And I was like, how did they just end up in this show again? Like, this is so weird. And I guess David Lynch, I think, had seen allegedly, this is alleged internet lore, I would say. He had seen them and he liked their chemistry together in The People Under the Stairs, and so cast them as a
Oh.
couple in this. Chemistry not meaning like sexual tension, but like literal at each other's throats, like crazy kind
Fascinating.
of energy. Yeah. So that was a weird moment for me where I was like, oh my gosh, I know them. And that movie is one that just sticks with you where you're like, you will not forget them or how they made you feel in that film.
Wow.
Yes. So super random connection. And then of course, like, I'm on Reddit. and, and people are noticing that too and being like, oh my gosh, it's so and so and so and so. I can't remember anyone's names, but other people had noticed that too and thought it was super weird. And that's when I learned about the
Oh.
internet lore that there may be a connection
Okay.
in terms of seeing them in that movie. Because I think it was someone, of course, checked the dates and did more thorough research than me on this, but it would have possibly made sense that David Lynch would have seen that performance and then been
Okay.
like, I want them in my show. It's
Cool.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
love that a lot.
I
I love that you
may,
had Twin Peaks trivia to bring to this.
yeah, I may have you watch that movie just because it's like one of those things where you're like, I need to pass that on, pass that
Yeah.
drama on. It's not it's not like oh, it's disturbing. How do I describe that movie?
It's got a creepy
It's
title.
it's just so weird. It's like more off the wall, in many ways than you could ever imagine. But it's
Okay.
like Wes Craven, so he still is like, let's kind of make it a fun time,
Okay. Yeah.
kind of make it a
Yeah.
fun little adventure. Uh,
I'll have to watch it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll see. I'm like, I want you to watch it. Also, I'm like, should you not?
Maybe not.
No, you should
Okay.
watch it. It's weird. Because I wanted to talk about it sometime. But anyway,
Okay.
what was your last thought?
So I just had to read one of my favorite quotes from the whole pilot and talk about this character a little bit. So at one point, there's like I think they're at the diner. Maybe it's like a town meeting. I don't remember. But Dale Cooper looks over and he sees a woman inside just cradling a log in her arms. And he turns to Sheriff Harry S. Truman and he goes, "Who's the lady with the log?" And the sheriff says, "We call her Log Lady."
I love
um,
Log
Log
Lady.
Lady is one of my favorite characters in the show. She's played by Catherine Coulson, who was a frequent collaborator of David Lynch. Catherine Coulson passed away shortly after filming Twin Peaks: The Return. And she was very sick at that time when she filmed it, and there is a documentary about her and going to film that, and it's not out on streaming yet. It's called I Know Catherine, the Log Lady. I can't wait to see it. It was in Houston for one night, and I was super sick that day, and I didn't get to go see
Oh,
it, so I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. The Log Lady is a phenomenal character, and it's a character that she developed with David Lynch, which I think is really cool.
really?
It's an idea they had together. Yeah.
Oh, she's so fun. She's
Yeah.
perfect comic relief and
She is
perfectly
amazing.
a bizarre match for this bizarre show. That's
Yes.
bizarre and lovable. It's the whole
That's
that's
what
the
it
whole thing.
is. Well, any last thoughts from you before we play our game?
No, I'm just excited to see this through and to talk about it again.
We will. We will. I will not let us not talk about it again. Both the original show, the prequel movie, and
Yeah,
the
all of
recent
that will be new.
revival. Yes. Yes.
We got some work to do.
We do. Okay, this is a really boring, lame game, but it will be fun trivia. So you know how many episodes ago we did the Goonies, and I had us play um, a Nepo Babies game.
Yeah.
Well, now we've got parents of Nepo Babies
Oh,
in Twin Peaks. So
is that a thing? Can you be a Nepo
I
parent
don't think so.
retroactively? But no, I get it. I get it.
You've given the privilege to your children.
Yeah, yeah,
So I am going to give you the child,
the baby.
the
Okay.
baby, the Nepo baby, and have you guess, and I will not make you guess that long. This is a wide open field.
Yeah.
Who their parent is in the show.
Okay. I might need help with names because
Yeah,
I'm
totally. You can describe who the character
okay.
is that
Okay.
that
Okay.
you're guessing. Okay, so we're gonna start with Amber Tamblyn. Do you remember her from Sisterhood of the
The
Traveling
traveling
Pants?
pants. Who
Yes,
could forget her? She's the sassy one.
exactly. Yes, Amber Tamblyn. Her father is in Twin Peaks. We do
Hmm.
meet him in the pilot.
Okay. I feel like he's Sheriff Harry S. Truman.
No, it's a good guess. It was a good guess.
I feel like they look similar.
I could see it. That's Michael Ontkeen. Ontkeen.
Does
Not
he have
her
a baby?
father. Not a
He's
Nepo baby. He also
he's not a
totally
Nepo
retired from
parent.
acting many, many years ago.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. Yep.
Hope he's happy.
Me too. Me too. Would you like a second guess?
Is it Ed? Just
It's
naming
not
the people whose
Ed.
names I
It's a
know.
character we meet fairly briefly in the pilot. He's super weird and he's got round glasses.
Ew, the creepy psychiatrist.
Dr. Jacoby. Yeah.
He gave me the biggest skeeves ever. Skeeves a real word.
It
He
is now.
grossed me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh,
I
not looking forward
stay with
to.
that feeling.
Ugh.
Yep.
Okay, yeah,
There's
now I see it now,
Russ
though.
Tamblyn. Russ Tamblyn, father of Amber Tamblyn.
Don't like him. Tried to forget. Now I remember.
That's so fair.
Mm.
Okay, our next are the Deschanel sisters, Zoe Deschanel and Emily Deschanel. Zoe Deschanel from New Girl and Elf
Yeah.
and 500 Days of Summer and 1000 Other Things. Emily Deschanel from Bones, and I can't think of anything else. Their
Okay.
mother plays a fairly small part in Twin Peaks. This is not really fair.
Okay. I'm just gonna say Laura Palmer's mother.
No, but that's a really good guess. It's a really good guess. Give me
Thank you.
another person's mom.
Another person's mom. Who else's moms do we meet? I don't know. I'm blanking.
Okay, that is fine because now I need a moment because now I've forgotten the character's
It's extra
name.
good trivia.
Yeah, it's Donna's mother.
Okay.
Yes,
When did we meet her?
we like barely see her in the pilot. So she's like
Okay.
also like the doctor's wife, the doctor who also does the autopsies because it's a small town.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
Okay.
she's in a wheelchair.
I don't remember what she
Very
looks like.
brief. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have missed it. Maybe I was on a
Yeah.
bathroom break for us to pause it.
Her name is
Oh,
Mary Jo Deschanel.
okay.
Yeah.
I almost
Uh
said I didn't know they had a mom. That doesn't make sense.
they did. They did in
Uh,
fact.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then our last one, which is pretty amazing. There was like so many people that had from this show that went on to have kids with like pretty big careers.
Yeah.
The next one is Rashida Jones,
Oh,
who's on Parks and Rec. She's in The Office. She's been in so many things.
yeah. Is it a
Oh,
uh
sorry, it's a woman. Her mom
her
is.
mom?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the cutesy tryst with Harry S. Truman lady. She runs the log show. This is how well I know this.
That character is Josie Packard, played by Joan Chen, and that is not her mom.
Not her mom.
But I don't know. It feels like kind of like you're on the right path if you want to give it another try.
I don't know.
Right
I
age
don't know.
range. There is a tryst or an affair involved.
I'm trying to think of like one other single character. I've gone through all the moms.
Not a
Um,
mom.
not a mom. Okay.
Yeah.
There is. I'm just gonna say one of the diner girls.
You've got it. It's Norma Jennings, played by
Okay.
Peggy Lipton.
Wow. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
I apparently don't remember what Rashida Jones looks like.
I don't know that they look super similar,
Yeah,
but yeah.
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 She's
Yeah.
a interesting looking person, not in a bad way. She just has like very unique features.
Rashida
Rashida.
Jones. Yeah.
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 But
She also
Diner
has
Mom doesn't.
she also has a famous father. Her father is Quincy Jones, who's like a famous record producer.
Okay.
Yeah, she's our only double Nepo
She's a
baby on that
double.
list. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Double bubble.
Yeah. Well, that is all I had for the game. So, Ashley, what are we talking about next week?
Sarah, next week we are doing our second edition of Little Terror. We are covering what is said to be the scariest episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? We'll see you there.
See you there. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Haunted Homebodies. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
And remember, when in doubt, just stay home.